Warning: the following content contains language that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to the Let's Get Heavy podcast, your exclusive backstage pass to the realm of heavy music. Join us as we engage in conversations with amazing musicians across the metalverse. I'm your host Stevie, and today's episode I'm chatting with Alf from Headcount, so let's get heavy. Well, Alf, first of all, welcome to the Let's Get Heavy podcast, where we like to highlight bands and try and spread a little bit of positivity throughout the
Nice one.
metalverse.
Thank you very much.
Sweet. Pleasure to have you. It's great. Looking
to
forward
be
to
here.
talking all about Headcount, this new
Yes.
project that you've created. It's only been together, what, about 2-3 months, roughly?
Well, actually, kind of yes and no. The name's been flung around since about March 2023.
Right.
I used to play in a band with a dude called Brody Thompson. So I used to play in a band
Mhm.
called Militia. And it'd been however many years since Militia had kind of like went on indefinite hiatus, and I was like, let's do something cool together. Like it'd still be sick. This is before I moved up to Newcastle. So I got him over, and we were just jamming some stuff, and even some of that stuff that we were even jamming back then. So like I've not added his riffs in, but anything of my own that we kind of jammed on at the time, I've kind of held on to, and you might even hear like live. But we were throwing around names, and then I suggested the name Headcount. I said, what about this? And it was a contender. So I just kind of held on to it for a bit. Come early 2024, I'm coming to the end of my degree. And part of my final major project was to produce an EP. So it didn't matter about the songwriting, but it did matter about the production and the quality of it, and so on. And out of that FMP, there were 5 songs, an intro tape, an outro, as well as Power Trip, Persistence, and Hatred by Design. So those main 3 songs were written then, and then like the official launch, I suppose, was November 8th, 2024, when we did our debut, supporting Rash Decision.
So this came from a college project, basically.
My this is when I was studying at the University of Hertfordshire. Yeah, so I suppose so. Yeah, it's kind of like a college uni project. It's and if you want to boil it down to that, yeah.
But in the public eye, it's been around, since you could say January, roughly? Is that when the Facebook and everything was created?
Do you mean January 25 or January 24?
25, was it?
So like I say, the debut gig was on the 8th of November 2024. So
Right.
I think our first sort of posts were around about June 2024, give or take. And then it was just kind of slow pickings until we got that gig going ahead. And then it's kind of like, all right, cool, let's actually do something. Do you know what I mean? Let's get going with it.
What's your role within the band then?
I don't know, really. Obviously, everyone can say, "Oh, yeah, we want to make it really, really big. We want to do stuff." But I was speaking to a few people about this before, and I think personally for me, I want it to be a challenge that I can overcome, and I want to progress, and I want to kind of prove a point that actually, if you really do want to do this, you can do it. That you just need to speak to people. You just need to be, make as many friends as possible. And just try as hard as you can. And, if you've got a band and everyone's on the ball, everyone's doing their part, they don't have to all be doing the same thing. Someone could be looking after social media, and someone could be, maybe you've got a couple of people that are the primary songwriters, and then you've got a couple of people that are like your business people. If you've got a group like that, you can totally smash this thing like real fast and real quick. You could really do it. So that's kind of my goal, is just to prove a point, that anyone, can do it. And I'm not trying to make myself sound too big-headed or anything like that. I think the progress so far is pretty good. I think in maybe a year or two, we'll be doing much bigger stuff. It's slow pickings. We're still doing our first couple of shows. So for the progress that we've made so far, I'm very chuffed with it. I'm very pleased. Yeah.
Smart, to be fair, because you've obviously been surrounded by bands the majority of your life, and you'll probably know yourself that can get quite overwhelming with the amount of stuff that can come through, especially if one person is handling everything.
Yeah,
To split everything off between bands, one person does the social media, one person does the business side.
yeah,
Well, similar like what we're doing now, one person doing the interview sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. It takes the pressure off everyone. You're not feeling overwhelmed by it because then
No,
getting
yeah.
overwhelmed because then people just want to, oh, I can't be bothered with this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it gets severe burnout real fast, and yeah,
It
believe
does.
it,
Mm,
it is such a killer. But yeah, you just need to be honest with yourselves. Do I actually enjoy doing this part? Okay, no, but I do enjoy doing a lot of content creation. So then you're the social media person. If you see where I'm coming from,
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of spreading about. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing the business, social, and I'm assuming the content creating as well.
Do you know what? I should practice what I preach really. I do a bit of everything, but everything I do, I consult the band and the guys in the bands as well. It's never the final decision is never mine, and that's what stops the burnout because it's like, all right, cool, I can actually see it from someone else's perspective. And of course, if the guys want to do something in particular, then I just let them do it. If they're like, oh, can I try doing this? Like, yeah, go for it, please do. But yeah, it's just like we're at that stage where we're kind of figuring out what people enjoy doing the most. And the guys in Headcount, some of them are quite, I don't want to call them inexperienced, but they've not been on tour before, or they've not like done, the band thing full time or anything like that. They've done stuff in school, and like college and that. So they're still finding their way a little bit, but they're making massive progress. I mean, they are really, really good at what they do. They are like
Nice.
top notch.
Nice. So you're on guitars, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so who else is in the band? 'Cause I know we're missing four members.
Yeah, we are missing four. So I'll do it in the order on which I kind of recruited people to be in the band.
Sure, go for it.
So originally I had Simon from Helgrind was offering to play bass because it was with him that I originally demoed Power Trip and Hatred by Design with. Although it was for the college for the uni project, I pieced those songs together and he helped me put them together. And you'll see that it's on the credits as well that he was involved. But I originally had Simon there and I had Ali from Trendkill doing vocals. So all I needed was a drummer at that point. So, funnily enough, I was taking a trip back to an old school that I used to go to act as one of the judges for their music competition. And they had sixth formers and like college students perform as well. And it was there where I saw Louis play with his band. They're now called Exile Avenue. They were called Vendetta at the time. But I saw Louis there and I thought that dude, that drummer is so sick. He is proper mint. Like I've never seen anyone play as tight as him. He is really, really good. And I was like, I've got to get him in a band. Like we'll overcome whatever obstacles we can, whatever we need to, just as long as we've got like a solid foundation like him to do it. And I'm so glad that I did because he's just as motivated as I am, and just to have someone who's so psyched to be there, he's all for it and he's getting involved. And, as you'll know as well, I've started a new business with him as well, and so it's going really, really well. So I pulled him there and I was like, all right, cool. So that's Louis Osman, that's our drummer. Um, Later on, Simon wasn't available to do it full time. Obviously, him teaching all the time and having Helgrind as well, which I totally understood. I was like, that's totally cool. So we got a bass player in. And I said to Louis, I said, oh, you're a bass player from Exile Avenue. Would he be interested in it? Right. And I said to him, I don't want to poach your band members, but does he want to do it? And he was like, yeah, you can ask him. And I sent him a message. His name's Ellis Davies. And actually, again, like we all went to the same sort of school together, a couple of years apart, but we went to the same school. And I said, oh, hey man, I've got this project going on. It's going to be to the max. We're going to do this right. Like, are you interested? And he was like, yep, sign me up. And I was like, cool, right, nice one. So we've got the drummer, we've got Louis Osmond, and we've got
I hope that didn't cause any friction with his other band, though.
No, because I've got more to add to that as well.
Excellent.
So we've got Louis and Alice on board now, right? And as you can kind of see, the head count picture is really starting to take shape here now. Now it gets to a point where Ali isn't able to do it anymore because he's in like 5 million different bands. This is when Tranquil was still in full swing. He was already releasing stuff with All in Vain. He's been doing the Slipknot stuff, which is quite, quite intense as well. We've got all the rehearsals, all that sort of stuff. He just couldn't do it. And I was like, look, bro, I'd rather you tell me that you couldn't do it than leaving it to the last minute, and then it's too late. So, but I've got a lot of time and respect for that dude. And you'll see, I still kept him around to some point, because he still sung on Persistence and Power Trip, which are out now. So he still sung on those, and he sung on the original demos. But he went out, and I said to Louis, I said, would you be interested in having Joe from Exile Avenue, from your singer, do the vocals for Headcount? So we've got Joe Clinton on board, and and then by this point we're approaching our debut gig, right? And Clinton, you'll see why I just called him Clinton rather than Joe. He's like, I really don't think I'm confident enough or know these songs well enough to go on stage and play them yet anyway, right? He says, I just need a bit more time. And I didn't want to back out the gig. So I made a call to an old friend of mine called Joe Milborn. I played with Joe like over however many years, we developed our music careers together, so to speak. We've played in a band called Indistinction together. We played in Militia together, and then a band called Inhumane as well. But Joe lived in Brighton. I said to him, bro, can you do me a massive solid? Would you be up for doing vocals for this debut gig for us? We need a filler vocalist. It would just be a one-off. It doesn't matter too much, like if we've got a filler in, because no one kind of knows who we are anyway. Joe's like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'd love to do it. I really appreciate you offering. And then by the end of the gig, I'm like, look, we've got a vocalist already, but I was thinking about getting another guitar player in. Do you want to do the guitars? And he's like, yeah, meant straight on it. So now that's when we got Joe Milborn in. And that's, from the process of between like maybe June 2024 to November 2024, that's how we pulled Militia, Christ. That's how we pulled Headcount together, that's how we built that one. And I wouldn't change it for the world as well, because it's the growth and the experience and the conversations you have along the way. And you kind of, everyone bigs each other up. Like I say, these guys are so good at what they do. I really am like lucky to be able to say that I play with them. They are really, really good. Sorry, I know that was a super long story as to who was in the band.
Quite all right, mate.
But there's loads of context there.
Stuff like that, so quite all right. Quite all right indeed. I love stuff when you get stuff like that.
A lot of poaching, essentially, is what happened. a lot of poaching.
Stealing from other bands.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I hope that hasn't caused any friction between yourselves and that other band.
No. So I ended up recording their single with them. Like I ended up producing that for them. So they were like, yeah, cool. So we're all cool, Yeah, we're all good to go.
Handy though, if you can tour together as well. Do you know what I mean? Both of you pretty much in the same
double duties. Yeah, it's pretty much the same band. Yeah.
At that point, it'd be pretty sweet. But to be fair, in this day and age, can you really be in a band if you're not in like 3 or 4 different projects?
Well, this is it. It's about getting your name out there. But I think at some point you do have to sit down and go, actually, what do I do full time? Like maybe you have one band, your main thing, and then you open yourself up to fill in for other bands. And then that's how you grow your name, rather than kind of permanently being members of other bands.
Yeah. So you're based in Newcastle.
Yes.
And you said Hertfordshire is where the other members are. That's quite a trek, isn't it, between yourselves and...
So, yeah, because Joe lives in Brighton as well. So,
right. Even further away.
We've kind of labelled ourselves as a Newcastle/London band, and London being kind of the middle point between Hertfordshire and Brighton, kind of somewhat. So, we've kind of labelled ourselves as that. But whenever we've gone off and done shows, I've just grabbed a train down south. Joe, Milborn grabs a train from Brighton, and then we kind of reconvene as a band in Hertfordshire. And then kind of that's where we'll start for a tour, maybe, with the Southern run that we did, supporting Bangover and Kill the Gentleman. That's what we did. We met up in Hertfordshire. We were actually meant to be playing with Rash Decision this weekend, actually starting today. We were meant to play in Newcastle today. But that tour got cancelled, unfortunately. But it would have been a case that the boys all came up to Newcastle. And to me, it's the best way, maybe not the best way, but it opens up a lot more doors for us as a band. We're technically, everywhere's our hometown, so we can kind of wiggle our way onto as many bills as we want or
Hmm.
can. Just if a band, if a promoter's looking for a Newcastle-based band, it's like, yeah, cool, we're Newcastle-based because I go around and I talk to loads of people and I know loads of people from Newcastle. And same if people were like, oh yeah, we need a Brighton-based band. It's like, yeah, well, one of us is based in Brighton, so like, and he knows everyone in Brighton. And then you've got like London/Hertfordshire, and it's kind of like, well, I know people from London, the boys know from people from London, and then that's how we've kind of managed to, secure, a lot of our gigs without actually having material out yet, or really having tracked the scene too much because, word of mouth, I suppose. We kind of know a lot of people.
Smart, really. Think about it. Yeah, it might be a bit of a pain in the backside having to travel like one person here, then everywhere. But like you've just touched on, you can do the Newcastle side and the Brighton and then the London as well. So yeah, yeah, makes sense to me. Perfect. Very,
Yeah,
very
that's
smart.
it.
Because it's all about networking at the end of the day.
Massively. Yeah,
So,
yeah, massively.
mm. So what would you say are the key influences to Headcount? Who are the main influences music-wise?
Very, very good question, actually. But it ranges a fair bit, to be fair. I think it's a given Power Trip. When I wrote that tune, I was like, this sounds a lot like something Power Trip would put out. Not trying to say that I could write to that standard. I think they're very cool guys, but to me, at least, it was like, all right, cool. This is something that they might have put out. And so I was like, right, cool. We call this one Power Trip. So that's one of our main influences. Whenever we play live, we end up doing "I Will Be Heard" by Hatebreed, and Hatebreed's a big influence. Kind of doing that whole, it's like drop D kind of dun 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 hardcorey sort of. Do you know what I mean? The riffs are just heavy, and that's kind of what I want to bring in. I want to bring in the kind of almost DB-esque-ness of Power Trip and then kind of the heaviness of Hatebreed, and then you throw in loads of other bands like Madball, and then kind of reaching back out to our thrashier side, and you've got kind of the whole slavery thing, or you've got, I mean, I've even got a playlist full of headcount picks, that kind of, Grove Street as well, or another band who've kind of come up recently. Pain of Truth, I like to listen to a fair bit. Just like there's quite a few bands really. Louis is a big fan of like Trivium and stuff like that, so that's what, Trivium and Avenged Sevenfold. So that's kind of where you might find a lot of our more melodic stuff come in. Machine Head as well. There's quite a broad range of music going on there and genres, and that's kind of why we just called it crossover because it's not hardcore, it's not thrash, it's not like a metalcore or anything like that. It's just kind of a weird crossover of everything. Someone's got
Flashcore.
some stuff. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is it.
I love it, to be honest with you, mate.
I
It's got some
appreciate that.
absolutely sick riffs, chuggy riffs, which I absolutely love, and guitar solos, which I was just, yes, guitar solos just fucking feed me that shit all day.
Yeah,
To be honest with you. I
no,
love
appreciate
riffs. That's the one key thing. I've always said this. If it's got fucking good riffs, and a mint solo, I'm sold. It
it.
just
Nice one.
fucking throw it all hours. Give us it any day of the week. So yeah, as soon as I heard Power Trip, it had everything that I wanted to hear. Vocals are sick, the mix is absolutely fantastic, and the chuggy riffs, and of course the guitar solo as well. So absolutely banging debut song for you, to be honest
I
with you guys.
appreciate that. Thank you.
You'll know that we obviously featured it on our Twitch channel as well. It was absolutely a sick song, so congrats on that. But let's dive more into the song.
Yeah,
Um, so Power Trip
yeah.
normally meaning, if there's something that you're angry with. Is it you're angry with the government or a specific, maybe something within the music scene? What themes are behind this track and what's the message you're aiming to convey?
Um, it's just going to be such a lame answer, but like I literally sent the demo titled Power Trip to Ali, and he sends back a fully written song, like
Mm.
lyrics and all, around the subject of Power Trip. There was nothing that was actually that significant. I've not said to Ali, I said, oh, bro, write some lyrics about, the fucking government, man, and all this other stuff. And he's just sent back just some like cool lyrics. And, funny enough, he was telling me that someone said to him once that, lyrics don't matter. And, and it doesn't matter what you write about or what have you. And he got really annoyed by that because to him, and I totally agree with him when he was telling me this. He was like, to me, if you've got a very well written song lyrically, it adds that extra depth, adds that extra level of kind of questioning, and people will re-listen to a song over and over again just based on the lyrics, or at least I found myself doing that as well from time to time. So again, it's kind of whilst the origins of that song and the lyrics kind of didn't really come from anything in particular, it's open to interpretation. You believe what you want to believe. It's a very applicable song. You could totally, I don't know, maybe your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, you really like hate them or something, and maybe they were just total asshole, and there you go. There's fuck your power trip. Do you know what I mean? What you're doing, and you could pin this around and say, oh, um, it's a big middle finger to people who gatekeep and stuff like that. Like, what's the point in gatekeeping? Just like let people
Love
do
that
what things they want to
straight
do.
away. Yes,
Do you
couldn't
know what I
agree
mean? And
more
it's
with that.
like it's so open to interpretation. And again, like the other single we brought out, again, it's like and that one has a bit more meaning to it, to be fair. But Power Trip, especially, it's just kind of like it's there. It's your song. We wrote it, but it's your song, and you treat it how you want to treat it.
Yeah, no BS sort of thing. It's subjective, and I think it's what the person who's listening to takes away from it.
Yeah.
Um, but did I hear right before someone mentioned that lyrics don't matter?
Yeah, it's so Ali was telling me, I can't remember who it was that was telling him this, but he just said some dude was saying to him that lyrics don't mean anything. I think it was about some lyrics that he wrote for Trendkill, and
Hmm.
someone said, "Oh, the lyrics are like a terrible, or like the lyrics are a bit like naff." And it's just like, and Ali got really annoyed by, as you would, if you're the lyricist of
Of
the
course,
band, do you know what I mean?
of
You're going to
course.
take that personally. So it was around about the same time that I asked Ali to do the vocals for Power Trip, and he wrote the lyrics, and he was like, all right, well, fuck this, I'm going to prove a point. And then he wrote the lyrics for Power Trip, and these songs, I know there are own songs, but for me personally, I'm not even the singer, and I know the lyrics. I can sing along to the song like perfectly, and it's kind of like it didn't take any revision, to really nail these lyrics. And that's another thing that applies to, the live situation. You are playing a show and you want fans to sing along. It's not going to take them a million years to figure out what the lyrics are and to learn them. They just sing them.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I would 100% disagree with whoever turned around and said lyrics don't matter because, you know, uh, it's, there are so many songs out there where yes, maybe the artist just did not care about what the lyrics about. It was just they were out and about on a picnic or something like that with their friends, and that's what the song's about. Like it's
Yeah.
sentimental, but otherwise not really too deep of a meaning. And fair enough to them. But there are other songs where people, I'm sure you've seen it before where people were saying to artists, you've saved my life and stuff like that. And it's like, it's those songs that really matter the most, in my opinion. It's like when you can really like tell a story to someone and inspire them to really just be who they are. Stick it out, it's cool, bro. Like it'd be totally fine. Don't sweat it. Like other people feel the same way as you. Here's our gift to you to help you pull yourself through it. That sort of thing. Like I say, it's open to interpretation. It's your song. You do what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to Ali. Don't listen to them. Fuck them people, whoever's giving you that shit, because I absolutely love Ali to bits. He's absolutely sick.
What a legend.
Fantastic vocalist. So, yeah, if he is watching us back, shout out to you, mate, and don't listen to them because at the end of the day, your lyrics are sick. Um, but yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And when you said before about how songs can save people's lives, not just songs, well, the community as a whole. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Since starting all this in 2021, I've found just across the UK alone, it's like one big massive family, which is what I love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge.
And you can feel like as if you can turn to anybody, which is what I love.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it goes to everyone, anyone who's listening. Like, if you need a chat, just message them. I really highly doubt that any musician, if you tell them, hey man, like I really dig your song, like it's really helped me through some stuff. I very, very I would find it so hard to believe if someone turned around to you and said, like, piss off. Do you know what I mean? Like people are more open to talk than you think they are, you know. And it's just like just chat to them, you know. You know, you don't have to like tell them your full story. It's just that conversation and just knowing that someone actually will engage with you, you know, talk to you and share everything, you know, and just kind of let you vent. And that's an
Could
important
not
thing.
agree more with that, mate. Could not
Yeah,
agree more with that. And continuing on with Power Trip, as was touched on before briefly, that guitar solo is absolutely sick.
I
How
appreciate that.
how did you guys approach this composition of that section, and what was the desired impact on the listener?
This is a good question again. Um, like so, I mean, again, like I mentioned before that I went to Simon from Helgrind, and just kind of I said, look, you know, do you mind sitting down with me while I demo these tunes? And I've had these riffs for years. I mean, as far back as 2017 or 2018. Bearing in mind, I started playing guitar in 2015, so it's been a decade now. But a lot of these riffs are from back then. Um, and I don't know. I just kind of when I write a solo, I play the backing for the solo over and over again, and I just rip whatever's like coming to me, and I'll go, all right, cool, that phrase there worked pretty good. I'll build off of that, you know, and then I'll keep trying different bits, and it's all improvisation that just ends up getting like put together, like little pieces there, and I go, right, cool, I'll remember that. I'll remember this, I'll remember that, and I suppose it was just meant to be an intense section. You know, you've got the first bit of the solo and then a little break from the solo, and then it kind of rips into like this, you know, a more traditional solo. You know, it's not just shreddy shreddy, I suppose, but you know, I don't know. I know this is a proper lame answer, but I just wanted something that was sharp and to the point. You know, something that really worked with the tune. You know, Power Trip from like Texas, you know, or at least that sort of Texan style of hardcore. And to me, I associate country with Texas, you know, and kind of that straight pentatonic type sort of thing. So I just did very country sort of styled things, apart from like the arpeggios and the sweep picking and stuff like that, or what have you. And you know, I guess I just made country thrash, and you know, I'm
Nice.
a really big country fan, so why not?
Get in. It's about
You know?
time. Trying to get people onto this for a while because country is really awesome. Everyone should rock a bit of country music, especially if you like riffs. Do you know what I mean? Like Dark Justice and stuff like that. With the if you ever come across any of their albums or the compilation albums with bands like Blue Saraceno and stuff like that, it's just absolutely sick, man.
Yeah,
So
no, exactly. Yeah, Chris
absolutely love that.
Stapleton for me. I'm a big fan of Chris Stapleton. He's got to be a good
Oh,
inspiration.
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, there
Who
you
we're talking?
go.
White Buffalo as well. I think that's another one.
Yeah,
He looks like a double of Mark Morton from Lamb of God as well. I keep thinking, I was like, every time I look at him, I was like, is that Mark Morton? But it's not.
copy and paste. Yeah,
It pretty much is, but he's a country singer. Whenever he was doing the whole, like, just pretending to be somebody else, but no, it's someone's different apparently.
doppelganger.
Yeah, probably unless it really is his brother in real life. Who knows?
You never know.
You never know. So, what were the challenges on writing this song for you? Did you, if you faced any at all?
Again, it was just like I'll come up with riffs and riffs while I play, but sometimes I proper suck at putting them together. Like,
Mm.
you know, or maybe it just takes having someone else say, no, that actually does work. Because the perfectionist in me is kind of like, no, that doesn't work. No, that's not right. That's not right. You know, and again, it's kind of my own sort of inner struggle. You know, to write songs, I'll have riffs and riffs and riffs, and it's just sometimes just need someone else there, even if they're the ones at the computer and it's just me playing guitar, you know, and they're just kind of chuck it together and have someone help me realize that. That's like the only real like challenge of it all, I suppose. You know, just perfectionist and you know me being my own enemy. But that's about it really, you know. Persistence.
How about getting everyone in the room? Because that I would imagine that'd be quite of a challenge as well, with everyone living so far away from each other.
Well, this is actually before I moved up north.
Hmm.
So I moved to Newcastle in June, but these songs were written in March, April sort of time. Or my hand in was in April, and I'd just finished writing them in March. Basically I didn't leave my house for 2 weeks whilst like trying to re-record and do all of this FMP stuff. So you know. But when we try and write stuff, it's just a matter of sending riffs into a group chat and someone sitting on Logic or Pro Tools or whatever and just piecing them together. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it really.
Yeah, yeah, nice one. So we're moving on to Persistence. And that's the song that's only been out roughly, what I would say, a week.
A week tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
A week tomorrow, yeah. Yep. Um, what's the personal collective experience fueled of writing this song?
The actual, I mean, you might have noticed, it'd be pretty hard to not notice, but the song is literally the same riff all the way through, just on different octaves, right? So you've got one seventh fret of the A and the D, and then you've got the same thing kind of on the open strings. And that riff's been around since again like 2018, give or take. There used to be a video out from when we played in Militia. This was our first day on tour, which funnily enough we were supporting Helgrind. It was their tour. We were opening for that tour, and we had Earthbound as main support, who we're going out with next week for a couple of shows. And there's a video of us playing a song called Death by a Thousand Shots, and that was the solo backing. It was just meant to be something super duper heavy, to the point, and kind of yeah, that's really it. It's just a one riff wonder that just manages to persevere through. I mean, it's again, that's why it was called Persistence. It used to be part of a song called Persistence when we played in Inhumane. So this riff is featured in quite a few bands in music that was never actually released, and was just kind of like, oh, I'll just reuse that riff. It's a heavy riff. It stood the test of time. I still dig it. I'm sure other people would too. Let's stick it out there.
Is this a personal song for you guys or for yourself personally, Persistence? Just by the
Um,
name alone.
it's yeah. I mean, again, like it's no. Like I said to you before, I really struggle with perfectionism and kind of being the best that I can be, and I'm forever starting new projects. Um, again, I played in Distinction, and then I kind of, funnily enough, I was kicked out of Indistinction, and then I went on to form Militia, and then kind of Indistinction ended up molding into Militia, again, poaching other members and stuff like that. It's a story that's test time. Sorry. And and then kind of I stopped doing Militia. We put Militia on hiatus after COVID. Did Inhumane. And then we were kind of left in a weird standstill where we just couldn't find the members to like really do Inhumane properly, which put a real dampener on things. And and then we stopped doing Inhumane, and I was doing Helgrin for a bit, and then Helgrin was sitting around for a bit, not really doing much. Just where the album was being written, loads of other stuff going on. We had the odd couple of shows here and there. I was getting really, really bored. It's to me, I was, I'm 21. And I'm, for some reason, I don't know why, I was really conscious of time. I was like, I'm 21 now. If I sit around for too long, I'm never really going to be able to gig in my quote unquote prime. I'm going to miss this opportunity, this golden opportunity. Which only comes once. And I know it sounds super depressing, but that was what was going through my mind at the time. So I was like, I need to just do something, and I need to do it right. I need to stick to it, and I need to go all like balls to the wall. I need to go straight for it. And that was kind of the reasoning why I kept the name Persistence. I know I said that was from a song called Persistence when we played with Inhumane, but I kept that title because I thought it represented kind of what I was going through at the time. Ali still wrote the lyrics for that song, but the title, he took inspiration from that title and went on from there. So yeah, I mean, it's just that again, it's a message to people, say like, just keep going. Just keep going, bro. You'll get there. Like you will, trust me. Just it takes time.
Like it says, persistence is key. So very well said. And you said Ali wrote the lyrics on this as well.
Yeah, he did. To be honest with you, I was half expecting like him to just say, "Oh, well, give me your thoughts on these. Do you want me to make any changes?" And he did such a good job of it. I was like, I really don't want to change any of this. Like, you're the ideal person to have written this song. Like, I really, really like his style of lyric writing. That's not to say that the singer we've got in at the moment, Joe Clinton, wasn't able to do it at the time. These songs were written before we brought Joe in, and he's got some proper mint stuff coming up soon. It's I don't want to say too much, but it's sounding proper rocker. It's proper good.
Oh, we're getting teased now, guys.
Yeah, well, this is it. And Milburn's gotten involved with. Thank you. Um, sorry, I've got drink delivery. In case you couldn't tell, my throat's dry as hell.
Right, all right.
Oh, sorry. And we've got so many lyricists kind of going on, and as I say, Milbourne's getting involved. He's a prominent songwriter. He does a lot, and he's always putting stuff forward. He's always sat at home just kind of writing new tunes, and so we've got so many people involved, and I want people to have their part to play. Some people might say that Headcount's more my project, and I guess like because I started it, I could see why they'd think that, but I really wanted it to be a collaborative effort. So yeah, I totally left Ali to just do it. Like I wanted him to. I still wanted a piece of his kind of skill aspect, and his. I wanted a bit of Ali involved, because I just think he's such a top like vocalist and a really sound guy. He's proper cool.
So he's like kind of like an unofficial sixth member, really, at this point.
Yeah, kind of. And we've joked about like I say we've got as like people like Danny, the metal supervan of the Northeast. I love that dude to
He
bits.
certainly is. There is no bigger fan than what Danny is.
He's always saying like, oh, you need to get Ali up for like a guest slot at a gig or what have you, and you've got Johnny from again like those guys are from Trendkill, and he's in his own band called Red Scar, and he's like, oh, we need to get Headcount and All in Vain and Red Scar on the same bill together, and and they're always throwing around joking about doing like guest features live and stuff like that. Maybe that is something that we do, because I just want it to be a collaborative effort. I want as many people to be able to say like, yeah, well, I did a piece of that. That's part of me there. And I hate it when it's just one person all the time, because then it really pigeonholes and narrows the style of music. Like it won't progress or grow in any way. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as if you had like however many different people getting involved. It's a band. It's not a artist. It's a group of people contributing. So yeah.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And again, couldn't agree more with what you just said there about Daniel, the absolute super fan of the Northeast.
What a
An
legend.
he is a legend. Couldn't
He's a
agree
legend.
more.
Love that guy.
Can you imagine just all those bands in one night, one show? Throw Sequium in there, I think Danny would have a heart attack, or your head would explode.
I think he'd have more than just a heart attack. I think he'd have like, yeah, I can't even say it. It'd be so, yeah. Yeah. Let's just say he'd be having the time of his life.
He would definitely. I'm probably going to get a text message when he watches this back later on. Make it happen. Someone
make it happen. Yeah, get it done.
Somebody better make. It's been said now. It's been put out there for the world to hear, and I want that show now.
Yeah. No, we'll do it for him. He deserves it. He's such a cool guy.
He does. We'll just call it Danny Fest.
Yeah.
Just for Danny.
Danny Fest.
So, but overall though, what do you hope listeners take away from Persistence?
Again, same sort of thing that I said with Power Trip. It's meant to be like something you can interpret in your own way. I think Persistence is a little bit more to the point and a little less kind of vague as Power Trip. But it's kind of like when with lyrics like to ride or die is a way of life, and it's kind of like you stay true to your path. Don't kind of divert just because someone's telling you to. If you're going to do this, you do it. Don't back out on yourself, and achieve your goals, achieve your dreams. Do what you want to do. It's meant to be a motivating song. It might sound silly. I listen to it in the gym, and sometimes it just gives you that extra little boost to just push that. That last rep, and it's like you've got Ali screaming in your ear, and it's like, all right, okay, cool, I'll do it. And it's just meant to be an inspirational piece. It's one riff. There's nothing else. You can't confuse it with anything else. There is nothing to get confused with. Just do it. And that was it. It's literally in the title, Persistence. Just keep at it.
So how does the song represent the current mindset of the band?
Well, I mean, I suppose like I've hinted to already, it's kind of like, we've all played in however many bands, but we're still here doing it. It's like you just gotta crack on and do it. You can't wuss out. You can't bail out. Even if it seems like the world's against you, you have to pull all your friends together and your future friends and people you don't know. Um, and it's just kind of like it's going from being more of an introvert to an extrovert and just kind of being out there and open. And some people prefer to be introverted, and that's cool. And I think, some of us in the band definitely get like that, but it's just a reminder of like, you know, it, everyone's there for you, just keep going, keep pushing. You've got more friends around the corner than you think you do. You might look at, and then that's what we all see each other in the band as well. We're all friends at the end of the day. We'll rip into each other. We'll laugh at each other, or we'll laugh with each other, and all this good stuff. But it's like at the end of the day, if push comes to shove, if shit hits the fan, like everyone's got your back, you know, and that's it. That's really what it is. It's just kind of, again, persistence. It's that word.
And combining the two songs, Power Trip and Persistence, are they connected in any way, or are they both standalone statements?
They were meant to be a part of a collection called the Persistence EP. Again, was meant to be the whole kind of like, look, I'm not going, mate. I'm still here. Like, keep coming at us. So I'm still here. That's not me trying to say, look, let's all fight. But it's kind of like, just like, just get over it. Whatever it is, just like, we're all here, work together. It's meant to be a collection. Of songs, but I think when we've kind of uploaded it through the distribution service, it's just come out as two singles. So the artwork's similar, the logo's the same, other than different colors. The production's the same. You could totally see it as one collection, but if you want to see those as standalone singles and kind of interpret your own meaning to both of them, yes, totally cool to do, man. Like, that's your thing. Again, it's open to interpretation, at least in this instance, anyway.
So will both these songs feature on an EP or a future album, or will they just both remain as singles for the time being?
They'll remain as singles. Like I say, they were both meant to be a part of like a two-track EP. But they're just going to stay what they are. I think they'll always be staples in the set list, though. I think they're very powerful songs, and we're writing some proper killer stuff at the moment. And as some of you may have seen when we played live, the material is like, it's really strong. There are still some bits that we're testing out live, but those two, that's a statement. That's what it is. And we'll follow up with that statement later on this year as well.
Sweet. So there will be another song later on in the year, is that correct?
EP, yeah, we'll do another
Full EP.
We'll do a full
Full
EP, maybe one or two other singles to go with as part of that EP. But yeah, we'll do an EP.
I've got a rough date of when this may drop.
Um, well, in our sort of plans, I think we're looking at getting in the studio in the next sort of couple of months. Like I say, I've mentioned songs like Hatred by Design already. We've got another song that's ready to go as well. We're kind of called Cut You Loose. And that was one that Milborn wrote, actually. We've got, which is a very punky sort of tune, which worked like really, really well when we've played with
Punky, but does it still hold on to that Headcount sound sort of thing?
Massively. It's even like, it's got some like Morbid Angel stuff in there, man. Like, it really, like I say, it's proper spans a good couple of genres and inspirations. And again, this is why I said, like, this is why I really want it to be a collaborative effort, because if it was just me, like, you might not have experienced that sort of morbid angel-y aspect in the music, but that's something that I love, and that's something that that's something that Joe does. I couldn't do his style. I can play his style. I could, if that's what the tune requires, I could play his style, but I couldn't write like him. The dude's, he's a really good songwriter. No, he's really, really good. But yeah, I think if I was to, maybe May sort of time, we'll end up in the studio again. It's not it's not announced yet, but we're doing a certain competition to get on a certain festival. But as I'm sure you can probably figure that one out. But
I'm going to assume metal to the masses.
I can't say anything, but I'll give you a nudge, like yeah. But because the date hasn't been announced yet, I can't say for sure.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, so we're going to tie it in around then, give or take. We're just going to lock ourselves away in a studio. We've got a couple of friends who've turned around to us and said, "Hey, look, we really want to like get involved, and we want to, or they, they want to mix it, or they want to record it with us." And so we've got quite a few options on who we want to go for, and there's some really cool producers out there, man. I mean, George, who did the Persistence EP, if you want to call it that, he did such a mint job of that. He did a really good job of that EP. But yeah, we've got loads of options, so we're just kind of picking it at the moment. Yeah.
Is this mixed in-house, or do you send it out?
So we recorded the drums with George Collins at In Heart Studios. And then we went away, we recorded the bass, vocals, and guitar separate. And then we sent it all off to George for mix and mastering. I didn't want to mix and master it myself. I wanted to focus on other aspects, and I'd rather not. Like I say, I'm such a perfectionist. If it's my own stuff, I'll end up mixing it. I'd still be mixing it now. I'd go back and listen to the mix and I'd go, "That's not right. That's not good enough." And then, do you know what I mean? And it's just sometimes it just takes someone else just to get involved, just to get it done. Again, it's like that whole thing of like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and that's what it took to get it like right, if you could call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this next thing we'll find an engineer, we'll record and mix with that engineer, and then send off elsewhere for mastering, and that'll be the next EP.
Will you use George again, or will you go elsewhere?
Potentially. His schedule's already filled up as far as like May, so it might well be that we're not able to even go with George. But he's such a sound guy. Like I totally recommend people go and record with him. If you're doing that sort of kind of that heavy beatdown stuff or punky. I mean, he does all sorts of music. I highly recommend him. He's a really
first
nice
time
guy.
working with him, or
that was actually. We were recommended by a few people to go check him out, and the drum recording session was so cool just to be there, and it was a very chilled, relaxed day. We got both the songs off the EP recorded with him, and then we recorded some playthrough stuff whilst we were there, just because we had some spare time. He's just such an easy guy to work with.
What you want?
Yeah, massively. But like I say, again, I want it to be a collaborative effort, so it might well be that we try out some of our other friends, and just see how it goes.
Nice. So looking at the overall direction of Headcount, how do you see the band's sound and message continue to develop in the future? Do you feel the Power Trip and Resistance are indicators of the band's future direction?
I think they're both very broad songs, genre-wise, but like I've already hinted at, we've got punk aspects coming in now, and we've got very death metal-y aspects coming in now. It's never going to go as far as like hints of death metal. I want the music to be accessible, as accessible as possible, and that's not to say death metal isn't, but it's not something you're going to find necessarily on like the main radio stations. And sometimes you might not find some of the crossover stuff on there as well, but I want everyone to get involved in it, and just have little hints there. If it's all death metal, then the death metal riffs don't seem as special. If it's all punk, then the punk riffs don't seem as special. Do you see where I'm coming from? It's about savoring the flavor, if you will.
Yeah.
It's just kind of So yes and no. Like we've got stuff from other genres coming in. But you can just expect like total brutality. It's just going to be like proper heavy. I want every song to be a banger, Again, there's that perfectionism coming out of me as well, where it's just a matter of just saying no to stuff that, I said to the boys, I was like, part of this whole thing of wanting to do this right is if you're on the fence, it's a no. Unless it's a straight yes, it's a no. And that's worked for us so far, and I say it to other people who kind of ask for any help or advice or tips, and as you know, I look after a couple of bands as well. And I'm like, look, the best way for something that I personally found works really well for us is just saying, look, if it's on the fence, it's a no, and that's how you keep your quality control going in, unless you're like, this is an absolute banger and you're still calling it an absolute banger a week later, then it's a no. So Yeah, sorry, again, that was a total like derail off of your
No,
question there, but
mate, quite all right.
it's
Don't worry about
just I
Don't worry
suppose
about whatsoever.
over detailing it a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah,
Well, that's why we do these for, though, at the end of the day, because we want to know more about the band. We want to get an inside the creative minds behind these bands at the end of the day, because they're fascinating stories. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And me, from a fan's point of view, because I don't do this from a journalism background, because I've got no journalism training whatsoever. You've probably realised, everyone who watches any of these videos, I've got no journalism background whatsoever. It's literally just from a fan's point of view. It's just what I would like to know about the band.
Yeah.
So
Keeps
yeah,
things spicy, you know.
that
It's
does.
not boring, man. Like it's just like these are genuine questions, you know. Um, but
It runs through the old brain at 2 o'clock in the morning.
ah, yeah. Wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing. Aye, that sort of thing. But what would you want to know most of? So, what do you want people to know most about Headcount?
I think we're just here for people, you know. Like I said before, I want the band to be as accessible as possible because I feel like the songs have such a sick meaning, and I want it to be that gateway drug, you know. I think every not musician, sorry, every fan of music has a pivotal point in their life where they've gone from listening to stuff like Black Sabbath and AC/DC, and it was just that one heavier song that just totally bridged that gap between the classic rock, classic metal to the heavier stuff. You know, I remember the Def's The Philosopher. Funny enough, Milborn showed me that song, and I listened to that tapping section. I was like, "This is awesome!" And then Chuck's vocals came in. I thought, "This is crap," you know. And I absolutely do. I do love Def. I think they're such a great band, and as over time I've matured and realized that, you know. And it didn't take me long after listening to that after listening to The Philosopher for the first time. I remember it very clearly the first time I listened to it. I was on my way to a maths class in school, you know, and that's when I was introduced to it. You know, and I want Headcount to be that for other people. I want it to be that gateway where people go, oh, I really like this style of riffing. And then it's like, oh, next thing they know, they're checking out bands like Madball or Pain of Truth, or, you know, then maybe they're going ahead and they're like listening to the more metalcore stuff like Malevolence and kind of bands in that sort of vein. Or maybe they prefer the more like straight dugga dugga sort of music and they're listening to Power Trip. And it's just like, if we could be that bridge that opens up so many people's minds, sick. That is awesome because that's what music's about. You know, it's wearing your inspirations on your sleeves and introducing people to like, just other sick tunes. You know, there are so many bands out in the underground that, you know, again, like I wouldn't call Grove Street underground anymore, but it's because they've grown so much. But you know, they're a band who I take a lot of inspiration from as well. And you know, it's kind of like it's one of those things where if someone listens to Headcount and they can, you know, maybe one riff or two riffs, they're like, that's something that would sound like that came from Grove Street or what have you. I'd just be happy with that. You know, just being able to wear my inspirations on the sleeve and introduce people to those other bands. You know, and
You
I
touched
think I'd
on
agree.
you touched on it because you essentially want the song to be for everyone. You're trying to get it out to as many people as before. And then you touched on about how you kind of feel death metal riffs won't necessarily get like a radio spot sort of thing, if you will. Do you
Yeah.
worry about any potential backlash from gatekeepers or just anyone? Because you're going to get them. Everyone's not going to always enjoy what you do, but do you feel anyone that might the gate? Do you think the gatekeepers might come out and try and say anything negative? If so, how will you handle it?
Don't care if they do. I
Yes, that's what I
think,
like to hear.
look, when I was 13, I might have said, "Oh, you're wearing a Black Sabbath top, name three songs." Do you know what I mean? Like stupid stuff like that. And it's like, who cares, bro? Who cares? Like, I really, like, you know, I really do not care. You either like the music or you not. And it's like, if you really like these bands, don't try and gatekeep them. Let other people enjoy them. Because the more you gatekeep, the more a band who kind of that's all they've got and all they're relying on. I'm not saying this is always the case, but to me, they'd be more inclined to go mainstream just so they can break even and make money. Everyone knows how hard it is. Everyone knows that unless you're being a proper business savvy person, you're not going to make any money. You'll make enough money to maybe support yourselves whilst you're on tour, but the moment you're off tour, you're skin. And it's just like, if you're going to gatekeep, you're part of the problem. To introduce your friends and your family to these bands, get them to buy a t-shirt. That t-shirt does a lot. Just I think maybe a quarter to a third of that t-shirt price is considered like profit in some cases, depends on how bands do their business. And that profit is what bands put into growing and getting, maybe even they buy onto a tour. Not that I agree with tour buy-ons, but maybe that's what they do with it. And, they reach a bigger audience with that sort of stuff. And, and if you're gatekeeping, then you're stopping them from doing that. You're stopping them from growing because you are precious about, Megadeth were the true original Thrash band. They're the first ever speed. I'm a huge Megadeth fan myself. I love Megadeth to bits. And Chris Poland is like, he's probably one of my greatest inspirations as guitar players other than Randy Rhoads. And it's like, I'd want people to listen to Megadeth. I'd be like, oh, dude, listen to this isolated guitar track. Do you hear how he phrases the... Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. And it's like, I'm psyched to show people these bands. And I think if you're a gatekeeper, you should really rethink the way you think and be a little bit more open-minded to the fact that a lot more people are actually probably more interested in listening to this music than you think. They're just worried about you turning around to them and like having a go at them for having a guilty pleasure. I could be a total Swiftie, and not that I am, but I could be, and I could be really into
I'm
metal.
a Swiftie, mate.
Well, this is it. But like, I could be a total Swiftie, and someone who doesn't appear to be into metal or into like heavier music. Secretly, I am. And that but they're afraid to kind of express that and really be into these bands as much as they would like to because they're worried about backlash from some like I don't know. I don't want to call them a low life because like I don't think people truly are low lives. I think there is a good bit of good in everyone, but like someone who's just sore about the fact that other people who don't look the part are enjoying the music.
Yeah, I hear.
But again,
My guilty pleasure, that's Club 7. Come on as gatekeepers.
Yeah, well, this is it, and it's like, do you know what? I'm a really big hip hop fan. I'm a huge country fan. I love reggae. I love blues. I love old 50s music, and old, 9 times out of 10, I don't always just listen to metal. I've got such I could show you all my playlists and they're filled with such incredible artists. And, I try and show that to as many people as possible. And I think like people should just share their music taste as much as possible. Share the
Very
love.
well said, mate. Very well said. It's subjective at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, you've
100%.
touched on quite a few times. So it's subjective at the end of the day. So couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Top and bottom of this, the moral of this whole story, everybody, is just don't be a dick, right?
Yeah. Just be yourself, bro. Just be yourself.
Exactly. So we've got a couple of random questions for you.
Dazzle me.
So you touched on you're a bit of a gym goer before.
Yeah.
If persistence was a workout routine, what would it consist of, and what would it be all squats and breakdowns, or a more thrash fueled cardio session?
Dude, recently, I know the stereotype is that like the lads will always like work out the upper body and never the lower body, but like I hate leg day so much, not because it's leg day, but because it's so intense and it's a very mentally it's a struggle. So songs like Persistence and like other like like I've got a couple of Malevolence tunes that I might listen to and stuff like that, and I'll go, all right, cool, I just need to get through this set. Like I just need to get through this set of 12. I need to push past, I need to persist. Just get me through this last set, and you get up and then your legs feel like jelly and stuff like that. So I suppose it's a really intense leg workout if you want to call it that. It's like proper balls to the wall. You've just got to get it done though. You want to look proportionate. You don't want those, I don't know, chicken legs if that's what people call them these days. Yeah, you want to look. You want that Arnold physique.
Oh, let's not talk about chicken again, please. I've killed all the gentlemen.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, yeah, I've heard about. Yeah, Tom written all over that.
Naughty Tom, naughty, filthy boy.
Well,
If Power Trip was a breakfast cereal, what flavor would it be? And what kind of cartoon mascot would you choose?
Christ. Um, what kind of breakfast cereal?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I don't really eat much. I don't eat cereal.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I don't eat cereal at all. I mean, oh, dude, it's such an open.
I did say they were random.
I know. I really can't think. Kind of cereal would it be? It's open to interpretation. It's whatever your favorite is. There you go.
That's fair enough.
It's yeah, dude. Something yummy, something delicious. A cartoon character. Funny enough, actually, a bit of backstory. The artwork for Power Trip is based off of Conan the Barbarian. So, it could be that. So,
Cool.
a cartoon. So, yeah, or He-Man. There you go.
If each band was if the band was to create a Headcount pizza and each band member was a pizza topping, what would they be and why? What would the name of the pizza be and each member was a pizza topping?
Ooh, dude. Coming
Who's
up
going to
some
be
proper
the
questions here, man.
who's going to be the spicy one? Who's going to be the jalapeno?
Oh, man. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know. Who would I call the spicy one? Um, do you know what? He's gonna hate me for this, but I think Joe Clinton's got to be the spicy one, man. I think our singer's got to be the spicy one. You know, he's the kind of one that's like it just sets your mouth on fire. Yeah, there you go. He's like, but the thing is, the dude is like his personality on stage is so fiery. Like he's straight to the point. Um, okay, let's do it in this way because this is the way I'm going to figure it out. I'd easily say that Louis is probably the bass, right? Louis the bass. He's your Domino's sun-dried tomato and basil bass, right? He's like straight to
Good
the
stuff.
point. Like, without him, it's gonna fall apart. You know, um, like Ellis, the bass player, he's probably the bacon man. He's like, he's got these like sizzly low end tunes. Like he's just proper firing away at the bass. He's proper great musician, and he's just like, he's a staple. I couldn't imagine Headcount without him. Like he's such a personality. I love that guy. I've already said Clinton's going to be that spice man. He's going to be those jalapenos or maybe even habaneros. Like he's there. He's to the point. He's ready to light stuff up. He's going to set the place on fire. Um, I'm trying to think of what Milborn would be. Milborn, he's part like Maltese, right? He's got a bit of Italian in him,
Okay.
right? So I suppose he's going to be that mozzarella cheese man. He's got to be the cheesy boy. He's got to have a bit of his own touch to it, and dude, I hate talking about myself like this because I don't even know what I'd put myself as, but you know, I don't even know what you would. Oh man, I suppose like chicken maybe or something like that, like a solid piece of protein, like it's got to be. It's got to be that one thing that's just like, all right, cool, let's get you, you've got the fieriness of Joe, this is the actual fuel to get you fired up, this is leading you up to that point. This is like the sizzling bit, that you've got some proper meaty riffs coming on, maybe that, like, and what would you call it? I don't know. Do you know, I take a lot of, I take a lot of, funny enough, I'm a big fan of Tenacious D. and in that movie they say the one line, Bob Marley extra crispy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call this the Bob Marley extra crispy. Yeah, there you go.
I'm
It's
only
got
asking because I'm gonna create a Get Heavy pizzeria and just have like pizzas named after every band.
do it. Do it. The Bob Marley extra crispy is the Headcount special, bro.
There we go.
Bacon and
That-
chicken.
That's what we want.
Yeah, nice. Oh, what a weird question, man. I love it.
I
Cool.
told you that weird, mate. That's just
Yeah, so
what
cool.
happens. What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you at one of your shows?
Oh, right. Okay, we played the song in Exeter. Oh, we played the gig in Exeter with Kill the Gentleman. And when we got there, um, he's gonna hate me for bringing this up as well, but it's so funny. Um, uh, Clinton had gone off to the toilet or what have you, and we'd come down and everyone was ready to go to the toilet. You know, we kind of needed to go. We'd been on the road for however long driving there, and the uh, owner was having an interview with the police for some reason. I don't know why. But the police were there, and we had to just kind of chuck our stuff in and go, which is what was agreed, which is, cool, totally cool. And Clinton comes back from the toilet, and we're all kind of waiting for him because we don't want him to just think he can hang around. We've got to go, bro. And he comes back to us, and I'm whispering. I'm like, right, okay. Like the owner's having an interview with the police, so we've actually got to go. And this dude at the top of his lungs goes, "The police!" And like right in the middle. Bear in mind, this is like an echo, like not an echoey, but there's some reverb in this room, right? And it's proper loud. They definitely heard this guy go, "The police!" at the top of his lungs, and we're like, "Bro, shut up!" Like quiet down, please. Like, because he's trying to have an interview with them for, like I say, I don't know what was going on, but I think that was like. It's an in story, and to us it's funny because the way he just seemed so shocked about it, and he knew that they were there as well but he still said that, yeah, maybe that. We've we've had some funny times, but like they're
Did
all
the
like,
did the police say anything to him or
oh
just let
no
it
no
go?
no no no. Luckily not. But like I was like, bro, please just shut up and come outside. Like like come on, please don't draw any attention to us. Like we're not here for this. We're here to just drop our stuff off and go. You
I would
know.
have wound him up, mate. Like, I would have went to the police officer and just, "Hey, mate, do you fancy just pulling a bit of a joke on me, pal?"
Oh no, I genuinely, I think he's the type. I'm not saying he's the type of person to panic about that sort of stuff, but like he definitely like, I don't know. I think he'd go red in the face.
You think?
We pulled him outside and we're like, look, let's just leave that for a bit and we'll come back later on. So we went off and got food after that. But that was probably a fun story, like a funny story that I could probably say and people would understand. There's a lot of stuff where it's kind of like an in joke, if you will, But like I say, the band's still fresh. We've got plenty of stories to go.
Nice, nice. Of course, yes. If you could play one song for the rest of your lives, but it had to be a cheesy pop song, which would it be? And would
Cheesy
you thrash
pop
it
song
up?
from what era?
Any era, mate. Just cheesier the better. If you want to go on Spice Girls or Steps, do you know what I mean? Just, yeah.
Well, you know what? I know it sounds really weird, but I quite like old like noughties, like R&B like type stuff. So, oh, I don't know. Maybe we take like a G Unit song. I like I don't know how familiar you are with them. I'll try and get up the song here, but oh, where is it? Where is it? Hold on. It's here somewhere. It might be in my hip hop playlist. Uh, G Unit, Wanna Get to Know You. That one,
No.
or I'd probably turn around and say Mrs. Officer by Lil Wayne. Something like
Right.
that, maybe. But we've actually, as part of our live set, we've got a song called Dream by Transplants, which is a band that's like made up of like Travis Barker and all those sort of
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Well
It's
aware.
like a hip hop sort of group. But Dream it's a sample of Cream from like Wu-Tang Clan. So maybe I mean that's what we open up every set with. That's our intro tape. So maybe we just take that song and we just like thrash it up and proper hip hop it up. Do you know what I mean? That's probably what I do. So there's 3 songs there. You get free, but buy one get 2 extra free. There you go.
2 more, mate. 2 more. On a scale of 1 to a mosh pit tornado, how messy does the band's van get on tour? And who's the biggest culprit?
Oh, dude. I don't know why, but for some reason at the Exeter gig as well, Ellis and I thought it would be so funny if we bought face masks and just put them on randomly in the van ride back home and just wait until people noticed. Don't ask me why we thought that was funny, but we thought, we were just chuckling to ourselves in the shop like, they're only 99p. Should we just get them and be refreshed and rejuvenated by the time we get back home? And we put this on, and it was honestly, it was as if they just like poured as much liquid into these packets as possible. And I fully sat there, it's all over my hands. I think, shit. I can't do anything now. I've got this ridiculous looking face mask on my face. I can't touch anything. Everything's all greasy and I suppose like me and Alice are probably, I wouldn't say we're the messy ones. They didn't get that messy, but like, I think we're like the type of ones who would just do something for a laugh and it totally backfire on us. And yeah, probably us too.
Pretty sure you're outing yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone has to. But I think we're all very quiet in the van. I think we all stick to ourselves. Like Milborn would sit next to me before, like he'd sit next to me in the van, and we'd always because you can connect 2 sets of AirPods to one phone at a time anyway, and do like the share thing. So we'd show each other tunes, and like that would be it. We'd just have our headphones in. Clinton's usually at the back, and he's getting the lyrics down. Like he knows the lyrics anyway, but he's psyching himself up. And we're all very quiet. So it really took like for the end of the gig, the end of the night for us to like actually talk. And then that lasted all of 20 minutes. And then we're like, oh, we'll shut up now. Everyone's sick of us, clearly. We'll shut up.
Finally, the final question. And I normally open with this one, but I've saved it to last because the Get Heavy UK community will kick my arse if I don't ask. But what is your Greg's order?
Dude. Okay, I have a personal vendetta against Greg's. Every time I get a chicken bake or a beef, like a steak bake, it's always cold, man. So, and that's only up north. Down south, I always got a hot one. But whenever I'd buy it, I'd get it straight away.
Is that every store in the north though?
Tried so many. I've tried.
Yeah.
And every chicken bake I get is cold. And technically, it's meant to be cold served food because to my understanding, they don't have the license for the bakes to be considered hot food and for them to have the heat. And so I get it, but if they can do it down south, do you know what I mean? It's
what he's playing at, Greg's.
Yeah.
What he's doing? You're meant to be from Newcastle. What he's doing? Fucking born and bred here in Newcastle, and that's what he's shocking. Sort of.
So anyway, I don't buy Greg's anymore for that reason alone, because every time I get it, it's always cold, and there is nothing worse than a cold chicken bake, because it's like eating snot. It's like, you know what I mean? It needs to be like toasty and steamy.
Well, I'm definitely not eating one of them now.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Anyway, Greg, sort it out, bruv, because otherwise, you've lost a customer.
Yeah, well, Headcount's not getting sponsored by Greg's anytime soon.
When they get their chicken bakes hot again, I'll consider it. Yeah.
Sorted, Greg's. Sorted.
Yeah. I'll leave that
with you. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really do appreciate it. It's been a good laugh.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
But before we do end, is there anything that you wish to plug before we call it a day? Or call it an afternoon?
Oh, dude, we've got so much stuff coming on. EP recording in the next couple of months. We've got our 2 shows with Earthbound next week. Friday we're playing in Bristol at the Griffin, and then the Saturday we're playing the Hobbit in Southampton. So we're going to get our Lord of the Rings costumes on. Not literally, nice. but I will be collecting the ring, the one ring. But yeah, we've got those 2 dates coming up. We've got loads of stuff coming on soon. Just keep
You've
your
got to
eyes.
do a cover that you're taking the Hobbit's eyes and God.
Yeah, no, we will. We'll do the whole we'll do the whole soundtrack and we'll just recreate it but metal. Um, but yeah, I do just like keep it real. You know, just be true to yourselves. Listen to the tunes. Message us. Let us know what you think of it. The door's always open, man. Message. Just it's always there. If you need a chat, come message.
And where can we find the band?
Um, all of our social media is headcount.xvr. So XVR standing for crossover. So
Mm.
come find us, man. You know, even if you message us as individuals and stuff like
And
that.
is that Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah, that's the
anywhere
whole
else?
that's the works. We're on TikTok, but I don't particularly keep too much attention on TikTok. That's down to the manager to look after that one for us. But Instagram and Facebook, yeah, get at it, straight on it.
You're the manager, though, aren't you?
Well, we've actually got our man Sam on board at the moment to look after
I
Headcount.
see.
He's yeah, former Fire guitar player, used to play in Strugoi. He's
Yes,
the old
very
Jackson
well.
A&R rep as well. Like, yeah, proper sound dude, really, really lovely
I was
guy.
having a bit of a fanboy moment when I realised that is Sam from Shugoi.
Yeah,
Because I saw them at Bloodstock a while back and they absolutely blew me away. They were one of my
yeah,
bands, and it was just by accident because the Bloodstock, I think it was 2022, it was absolutely baking and just had to get out the sun and was strolled into the Sophie tent, and there they were on stage and just that sounds fucking brilliant.
yeah.
So
No, he's a
yeah,
proper nice guy, really, really nice guy. But yeah, if you message TikTok, I might respond. It might be Sam, but like, just know people are here for you, man. Yeah, 100% all the time.
spot on. All links to socials and etc. will be in the description of the video, of course.
Mint.
And I will leave you with this, Alf. The rules of the pit are the rules for life. When someone falls, we pick them up.
100%, bro. But as always.